Hey everyone, and welcome back to Podcast for Artists. Today we're diving into something I think every artist thinks about,
hmm
and that is how to sell your art locally.
Yeah,
I mean, it can be a real challenge, can it?
it can. It definitely has its challenges, but I think the exciting part is that you're building a direct connection, with your community,
Right.
with people
R-
who can actually walk into your studio or you can meet face to face at an event.
Yeah, that personal connection is just priceless,
Yeah.
and it's just something that you don't get with online sales.
Right.
So let's be real.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that those connections translate into sales.
Yeah.
What are some strategies that artists can use to really boost their success at something like a local art fair?
Well, one thing that I think a lot of people overlook is having a strategic approach to your product offerings.
Okay.
Think about it. Not everybody who's walking through those aisles is going to have the same budget or be looking for the same thing.
Absolutely. Some people are there for a statement piece, and some people are there for a smaller, more affordable piece.
Exactly.
So how do we cater to all those different buyers?
It's about creating a product line that caters to a range of price points.
Hmm.
So you might have, your original paintings as your high-end offering,
Right.
but then consider offering, limited edition prints or even merchandise like tote bags or mugs featuring your art.
Right.
That way you're not, devaluing your original work, but you're still providing accessible options for those who might not be ready to invest in a larger piece.
That's a really smart strategy because it broadens your appeal and it creates different entry points for people to connect with your art.
Exactly.
Now, let's talk about those who are ready to buy.
Okay.
How can we make that process as smooth as possible?
One word, clarity.
Okay.
Your pricing and the information that you display alongside your work needs to be crystal clear.
Yes.
Nobody wants to play a guessing game when it comes to price, and they certainly don't want to have to hunt you down just to find out the dimensions of a piece.
You're so right. And it can be really intimidating for a buyer to even ask those basic questions.
Right.
What details should we include alongside our artwork?
Well, I mean, the essentials are, the dimensions, the medium, use the title of the piece, but, don't stop there. Think about adding a brief description
Oh, yeah.
or even a little story about the inspiration behind the work.
Hmm.
It just adds a personal touch and helps potential buyers, connect with your art on a deeper level.
It's about making it personal and inviting people into your creative world.
Exactly.
Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, money.
Yeah.
How can artists handle payments in a way that is convenient for both them and their customers?
Cash is king, but we can't ignore the fact that we live in a digital world.
Right.
So many people just rely on cards or mobile payments for even the smallest purchases these days.
Oh, I know. I barely even carry cash anymore.
Right.
What are some good options for artists to accept these card payments,
Yeah.
especially when they're on the go, like at an art fair or market?
Well, thankfully, there are some fantastic mobile payment solutions out there. Square, Stripe, Braintree are all really popular choices, and they're super easy to set up and use.
Okay.
They basically turn your smartphone or your tablet into a mobile cash register.
That sounds really convenient.
Yeah.
How do they compare? Are there any key differences that artists should be aware of?
Yeah, I mean, each platform has its own pros and cons in terms of fees, ease of use, and even features that are specifically designed for artists.
Okay.
So, for example, Square has a really intuitive interface and pretty affordable transaction rates, which makes it great for beginners.
Yep.
Stripe, on the other hand, offers more advanced features for like managing invoices and subscriptions,
Okay.
which might appeal to artists who are selling, higher priced pieces or maybe offering workshops and classes.
Right.
Yeah.
This is great information. It's so important to choose the right platform that aligns with your specific needs.
Absolutely. And don't forget about the increasing popularity of mobile wallets like Google Pay and Apple Pay. Offering those options just shows that you're, you know, tech savvy and adaptable to the way people prefer to shop these days.
Yeah, it's just a seamless, modern way to do business.
Yeah.
Now, what about those customers who fall in love with a piece that's a little bit too large to carry around?
hmm
I'm thinking of, those stunning landscapes or sculptures that would be a nightmare to transport.
Right.
Do you think shipping is something that artists should be thinking about?
Absolutely. Offering shipping, especially for larger pieces, can be a real game changer.
Yeah, it seems obvious, but I bet a lot of artists don't even consider it.
It's understandable, especially when you're focused on, those face-to-face interactions.
All right.
But think of it this way. Shipping not only removes a potential barrier for buyers,
Oh, yeah.
it also opens you up to a wider audience who might not be able to physically attend the event.
That's a great point.
And it allows you to keep that coveted sold piece on display,
Oh, yeah?
which, shows potential customers that your work is in demand.
That's a brilliant marketing tactic.
But even beyond shipping, how can we make sure that those connections that we make at these local events continue even after the fair is over? I'm all about building those lasting relationships.
Yeah, a mailing list is an absolute must-have for any artist.
For sure. But how do we go about collecting those email addresses in the midst of, a busy art fair?
It doesn't have to be complicated. A simple sign-up sheet at your booth is a great start.
Right.
Or you can get a little techie and use a tablet with a sign-up app.
Okay.
But here's the key. Incentivize people to join.
Okay.
Offer them a discount on their next purchase, exclusive previews of new work, or even entry into a giveaway. Make it worth their while.
People love a good incentive, so that's a win-win.
Exactly.
They get something special, and you get to stay in touch and nurture that relationship.
Exactly.
Now, once someone is at our booth, eyes are sparkling. They're interested.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any techniques that we can use to encourage them to maybe spend a little bit more to truly invest in our art?
I'm thinking about turning those single purchases into multiple sales. You're talking about the art of upselling.
Yes.
And when done right, it can be a fantastic way to increase your sales without feeling pushy or salesy.
Okay, I'm all ears. Give me some examples of how to upsell effectively.
Sure. So let's say someone is admiring a print of your work.
Okay.
You could casually mention that you also have a set of, matching postcards or even a jigsaw puzzle featuring that same image.
Oh, fun.
Or imagine, someone has fallen in love with an original piece.
Mm-hmm.
This is the perfect opportunity to mention that you offer framing services or recommend a specific frame that would perfectly complement the artwork.
It's about providing those extra touches that enhance their experience and really shows that you've put thought into how your art can live in their space.
Exactly.
But even with the most strategic pricing and, smooth payment options,
Right.
it all comes down to how we present our art, doesn't it?
Presentation is everything. Your booth or your studio space is an extension of your art, and it needs to be as visually appealing and inviting as the artwork itself.
So what are some tips for creating a booth that draws people in and makes them want to linger? I'm imagining something that's both eye-catching and reflective of your unique style as an artist.
Think about it as creating a visual symphony that's in harmony with your art.
Okay.
So start with a cohesive color scheme and style that reflects your brand.
Wow.
Then arrange your pieces in an organized and visually stimulating manner. Don't be afraid to get creative with your display. Use easels, shelves, or hanging systems to showcase your work at different heights and angles.
Oh, nice.
And don't forget about lighting. Good lighting can make your artwork truly shine.
It's like creating an art experience within an art experience.
Exactly. You're drawing people in with that overall aesthetic and then captivating them with the individual pieces.
Yeah, and remember, it's all about creating a welcoming and inviting atmosphere where people feel comfortable exploring your art and engaging with you as an artist.
Absolutely.
This has been so insightful. I'm already scribbling down notes for my next art fair.
Awesome. It's all about giving artists like you the tools and strategies to thrive in that local art scene.
And we've only just scratched the surface, haven't we?
There's always more to learn, especially when it comes to the ever-evolving world of selling art.
And for those of you who are eager to delve deeper, we have a fantastic resource to share. Head over to the episode description and click on the link to an article titled 7 Essential Tips on How to Sell Your Art Locally and Thrive on marketyourart.net.
Yes. It expands on many of the points we've discussed today, and it is packed with valuable insights for artists at all stages of their careers.
Definitely check it out.
Yeah.
But for now, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more tips and strategies to help you conquer the local art scene.
We've been talking a lot about art fairs, which are fantastic opportunities.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, what about selling art directly from your studio?
Oh, that's a great point. It's a whole different ballgame, isn't it?
It is.
You're inviting people into your creative space,
Right.
so it's a much more personal experience.
Exactly. And one of the most effective ways to do that is by hosting open studio events.
I love open studios.
They're-
It's like throwing open the doors to your creative world and letting people in to see where the magic happens.
It's all about transparency and connection.
Yeah.
You know, people love to see where the art is created to get a glimpse into your process. It adds a whole new layer of meaning to their purchase.
It's like they're not just buying a piece of art, they're buying a piece of your story.
Exactly.
Now, speaking of expanding your reach, what about collaborations?
Oh, collaborations are fantastic.
Tell me more.
Partnering with local businesses or galleries can open up so many new avenues for showcasing your work.
Like how?
Well, imagine this. You team up with a cozy little coffee shop
Okay.
to display some of your smaller pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So you create this vibrant and inviting atmosphere for their patrons.
Right.
Or maybe you partner with a gallery for a joint exhibition, tapping into their established network of art enthusiasts.
It's like cross-pollination in the art world.
Ex-
You're bringing your art to new audiences, and they're bringing their audience to you.
Exactly. And of course, we can't forget about the digital realm.
Oh, yeah.
Social media is a game changer for artists these days, offering endless possibilities for connecting with potential buyers and building a loyal following.
It's like having a virtual gallery that's open 24/7, showcasing your art to the world.
Exactly. Platforms like Instagram, Facebook, even TikTok, they allow you to connect with art lovers from all walks of life. You can post high-quality photos and videos of your art, give behind-the-scenes peeks into your creative process, and even host live events or Q&A sessions
Oh, cool.
to interact with your audience in real time.
It's all about using these platforms strategically to really tell your story, showcase your personality, and build a community around your art.
Exactly. Remember, the key to success in selling art locally, whether it's at a physical event from your studio or online, is consistency and engagement.
Okay.
You know, show up regularly, share your work, interact with your audience, and nurture those connections. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
It's about building those long-term relationships, being present and engaging with your audience in a genuine and authentic way.
Absolutely. And don't underestimate the power of those small personal touches. You know, a friendly conversation at your booth, a thoughtful response to a comment on social media, a handwritten thank you note included with a purchase.
Right.
These little things can make a world of difference.
It's those details that make people feel seen and appreciated, and that's what turns those casual buyers into loyal fans.
Right.
So as we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay. I'm all ears.
Don't be afraid to experiment.
Yeah.
The beauty of being an artist is that you get to forge your own path. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to success.
Absolutely. Embrace your unique style, experiment with different approaches, and find what works best for you and your art. It's a journey of discovery.
And speaking of journeys, remember that success doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, dedication, and a whole lot of passion. But the rewards are immeasurable when you see people connecting with your art and appreciating your talent.
Absolutely. And for those of you who are ready to dive deeper into the world of selling art locally, we highly recommend checking out the article we mentioned earlier.
Yes.
7 essential tips on how to sell your art locally and thrive on marketyourart.net.
Such a good article.
You'll find the link to the article in the episode description.
Be sure to check it out.
Yeah.
And remember, the most important thing is to keep creating, keep experimenting, and most importantly, keep believing in yourself and your art.
So well said. It's a journey filled with creativity, passion, and the joy of sharing your art with the world. It really is. And on that note, we've come to the end of another podcast for artists.
It's been so fun exploring the world of selling art locally with you.
I've loved it. I hope these tips have sparked some ideas for our listeners.
Yeah, me too. And remember, everyone, this journey doesn't end here. We've only just scratched the surface. So for those of you who want to dive deeper and really unlock those secrets of thriving in the local art scene, be sure to check out the article we mentioned earlier. Yes. 7 essential tips on how to sell your art locally and thrive from marketyourart.net. You'll find the link in our episode description.
It's a must-read for any artist who's serious about building a successful career right in their own backyard.
It's packed with even more practical advice and actionable steps to help you turn those connections into sales. So go ahead, click that link, and keep the learning going. As always, thank you so much for tuning in to Podcast for Artists.
Until next time, keep creating, keep connecting, and keep sharing your amazing art with the world.
We'll be back soon with more insights and inspiration to help you navigate the exciting world of art and business.